The Carmelo Anthony case is raging, and so is Dr. Umar. But from this point on, I'm only going to call him Umar, because in my opinion, he didn't earn his doctorate. But in this video, Umar describes why racism is what prevents black people from being able to stab white people at will. As a warning, I'm not sure brain cells regenerate, so after listening to Umar expound on the Carmelo Anthony case, any brain damage you incur could be permanent. Even so, I'm going to read a chapter of this book, Many Body Boson Systems by Andre Verber, in the hopes that the words of a professional physicist might help me recover some of my lost IQ. I suggest that you likewise find something intelligent to peruse after this video. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
I see that Umar is proudly wearing his South Africa bandana. What is notable about South Africa? Well, it has gone far in fulfilling Umar's fantasy about black separatism. What is also notable about South Africa is its incredible homicide rate, which is 3 times that of the U.S. It has a murder rate twice that of Chicago. The entire country of South Africa, including the rural regions, is twice as violent as Chicago. But if that is what Umar aspires to, well, very well. But let's get on with the idiocy. Before I begin, people always complain that I stop my videos too often to comment. So this time I told myself, look, Johnny, just stop the video when he says something truly brainless. And as it turns out, that's about every 10 seconds. So deal with it.
Carmelo Anthony, how you feel about him getting indicted for first-degree murder?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unfortunate, but I wasn't surprised. We understand how the criminal justice system operates in this country when it involves African people. You know, nothing is new under the sun, especially when you're dealing with white justice for black people in America.
A black kid stabs a white kid to death, and that white justice system has the audacity to charge him with a crime. Oh, man.
What I thought was very interesting about Carmelo Anthony's indictment that I believe we got yesterday is the fact that the day before, Art, in the same state, but in another county, there was a Caucasian student, an 18-year-old, who was indicted following the stabbing of a fellow 18-year-old student in his high school. I think it was the Belton High School in another county in Texas. This unfortunate incident occurred about 3 years ago.
So his claim is that Cason Allison was indicted the day before Carmelo Anthony's indictment. No, Cason was sentenced the day before. Remember what I said about Umar's interviews and brain development. Inhaling PCP is less dangerous than listening to him talk. Well, he did get the high school name correct, so there is that.
Him and a Latino student, they had beef. Allegedly, they had planned to meet up in the boys' bathroom.
Oh, brother. This dude wrote a dissertation? I'm not believing it.
And fight. And so some of the Latinos were there, and Casey Allison was there, and allegedly Jose Ramirez Jr., I believe he's a junior, rest in peace to him and condolences to his family. They allege that he swung first, punched Casey Allison in the face. You know, both of their groups that were with them, I think they got into a little bit of an altercation.
Yeah, just a little teensy-weensy bit of an altercation. Gee, let's not try to diminish Ramirez's actions here. Besides being dumb, Umar is also dishonest. But let's examine Umar's claim.
Biddle,
who was Allison's friend,
was also in the bathroom with Allison the day of the stabbing. He testified that although Allison and Ramirez had planned to fight, it wasn't supposed to happen at school.
Now, that's Biddle's testimony, but it is certainly not a fact that the fight was supposed to happen in the bathroom, unlike what Umar claims.
And they said that Casey Allison pulled out a knife that he had brought to school that day and stabbed Jose 4 times. And he was not charged with murder. He was not charged with first-degree murder. He wasn't charged with second-degree murder. He wasn't charged with manslaughter.
It was murder. The first tip-off that Cason Allison was charged with murder is this quote from the Austin American-Statesman.
After a weeks-long trial at the end of April, a jury found Allison not guilty of murder.
Umar, it's kind of hard to be found not guilty of murder if you've never been charged with murder. Keep in mind that it's possible that Umar simply doesn't know that charging someone with a crime and sentencing someone for a crime are two different things. Oh God, oh God. Hang on for a second. The Hamiltonian is essentially self-adjoint on a dense domain of vectors on the fermion Fock space and is not bounded from below. Okay, my brain feels better.
I believe he was charged with, was it reckless? I forget the exact charge that he got, but it wasn't murder and it wasn't manslaughter. And in fact, Art, he could have actually been sentenced to as little as 6 months to 2 years based on the charge that he was given. But the judge decided to add a weapons upgrade. In Texas, you can add something that's called a weapons upgrade, and I might not have the exact terminology correct there, but you can upgrade a charge to make it a more serious charge, and that's what this judge decided to do. Had the judge not done that, that young man could have been home in as little as 6 months to 2 years.
But he did. The judge did. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. What the hell kind of gripe is this? Just to show you how unfair our justice system is, if Kyle Rittenhouse had been found not guilty, he wouldn't have been sentenced to life. But Kyle was acquitted. Who cares what could have happened?
But because of the serious weapons upgrade that the judge put on the case, he was sentenced the day before yesterday. He was sentenced to 2 years. And he was sentenced to 10 years. And he does not have to do the full 10 years, Art.
It took some time, but Umar has finally mastered the concept of parole. Imagine that. A person could be let out of prison before he fulfills the entirety of his sentence. This racist American justice system. By the way, I think just about every state in the Union has weapons upgrades, Umar.
He does not have to do the full 10 years. And the reason I'm bringing this case up with Cason Allison is because it's very similar to the Carmelo Anthony case. Very similar. There are differences, but it's very similar. The fact that he brought a knife to a fight that he knew he would be having clearly shows premeditation.
Not really. Here's what the Austin American-Statesman reported.
The two entered a school restroom and were surprised to find Ramirez and 4 of his friends inside. According to Biddle, he and Allison attempted to leave after using the restroom, but were blocked by Ramirez and his friends.
If what Biddle is saying is true, and I realize that it's just his claim, although it is sworn testimony, then it's a wonder that Allison was sentenced at all. If he truly was prevented from leaving the bathroom by a large number of boys who then assaulted him, I think his use of the knife would have been justified. It all comes down to what kind of threat did Allison perceive. I didn't follow the trial, so I'm not sure. It is irresponsible to claim that Allison is guilty of first-degree murder unless you can disprove that claim. I'm not sure you could get a second-degree murder charge to stick, and the prosecution wasn't able to. But what about the claim of premeditation? Again, if Biddle's claim is correct, then I'm not sure you call Cason's actions premeditated. But it doesn't matter. Texas's murder law doesn't require premeditation. So all you Carmelo Anthony supporters out there need to get your facts straight. Regardless, this is clearly nothing like the Carmelo Anthony case. By all accounts, including Carmelo, the boys didn't trap Carmelo. In fact, they were wanting Carmelo to leave. How is that like Case and Allison? It is foolish to compare cases. Each one has to be judged on its own merits. And no, Case and Allison's case does not establish precedence in Carmelo Anthony's case. Carmelo's lawyers won't even be allowed to bring it up during the trial. An understanding of stare decisis, it's a good idea.
Clearly shows premeditation. I'm going into a fight, I'm bringing my knife. That's premeditation, and yet he still was not charged with murder, and he still was not charged with manslaughter.
Again, false. Kaysen was charged with murder. Umar is a moron. Both are indisputable facts.
Very important. In my personal belief, Art, is the reason that the judge decided to add the serious weapons upgrade.
If you think I've been overly harsh on Umar's intelligence, or lack thereof, hang on, because it's about to get stupid beyond belief. For those of you criticizing me in the comment section for making fun of his IQ, let it be known that there is a delete function available to you. I would suggest hovering your mouse over it during the next couple of minutes.
Is because if Case and Allison would have went home, Art, with a sentence of 6 months to 2 years, there's no way that that could have no bearing on the outcome of Carmelo Anthony's case. I mean, look at it, Art. Monday, Case and Allison gets the 10-year sentence. Tuesday, Carmelo Anthony is indicted on first-degree murder. You can't tell me that there was not communication from the district attorneys involved.
Oh, I can't? Here goes. There was not communication from the district attorneys involved. But let me clean that up a little. There was no communication between the district attorneys involved.
You can't tell me that there was not communication from the prosecutors involved, and both cases involve students who attended the same school. So I believe in order to justify whatever they're going to try to do to Carmelo Anthony, they had to give Case and Allen more time, Art. They could not let him go home after 6 months to 2 years and try to throw Carmelo Anthony under the bus.
Field. Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm the local one.
Yep, that's right. The DA in Carmelo's case called the DA in Kaysen's case and asked him to give Kaysen the maximum sentence so that he could give Carmelo the maximum sentence. Oh no! Except it's the judges who sentence, not the DAs. And any attempt by the DA to influence the judge in a different criminal proceeding would probably get him to lose his license and send him to the federal pen. Umar, you can't do that. It didn't happen. There's no freaking way that those district attorneys colluded on this matter, especially since they would have had to rope in the judge as well. It's stupid, dumb, mindless, brainless. Umar,